You're live, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Collins, Mr. Counselor Collins, would you mind leading us in prayer to open the meeting?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come here and just be assembled, Lord, that we may do the work of the people, and we ask for your guidance. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Do we have any speakers? No speakers. Okay. All right. Then we're going to look at the approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So what we came together today for is to just open the discussions on phase 1 of our county performance evaluation. And what we're looking for today is discussion, kind of treat this as more like a workshop setting. We're going to discuss the topics that we would consider auditing. So I want to get some feedback from the ad hoc committee and see what types of things we want to look at auditing. So I'll just open the floor. This is going to be very laid back discussion and just kind of see thoughts on that. So Gary, I'm just going to start with you and we'll just go this way. Is that all right? Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you. Yes. So we're looking at an organizational chart. Just give us 1 second here. Okay. All right. All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. The first things I think would be some of the things I'd like to add to the list, not necessarily of the most importance, but things that we can look at are elections efficiency,
Okay. All right.
contract performance, actually how are the contracts we award, how they actually perform once they're awarded. Not how we award them. That's state law. I'm saying how the contract performs after we make the award.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, I would include small spending expenditures.
Okay. Give that to Frank. Okay, so those 3. All right. I was kind of thinking on the lines of finding, you mentioned efficiency in a major department, maybe a process that we could look at to save money. If I look at the 2 biggest departments, I feel like we have physically people in. I feel like that would be maybe either the IT department or the sheriff's department, just by virtue of bodies.
Actually, that would be the sheriff's office,
Uh-huh.
EMS,
Okay.
detention, public works. It's kind of in that order.
Okay.
IT would be considered one of the small ones.
One of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you look at the number of personnel.
Okay, so you're putting all public safety together, basically.
Well, I'm just saying the sheriff on their own, they have over 600
Okay.
personnel.
Okay.
And then as you go down the list, public safety, detention, that has probably close to 300. EMS is close to 300. Those are the big
Gotcha.
individual departments.
What about clerk of court? How many employees do you have?
He's probably, I don't have my budget in front of me, but they have a number of personnel, I would say in the 50s probably.
Okay. Okay, so I was thinking on that, and then I was kind of thinking on looking at different things we've instituted, like FELO money would be one, where we bring in quite a good bit of money from FELOs in the county. So how is that process, and how do we know it's being efficient and doing what it's supposed to do? Another one would be and this has come from a constituent, the roads money. How do we allocate the roads money? When it comes in, how does it come in? And is it set aside for the roads or not? That's the question I got. So, and then along the same lines, the $25 fee that we collect, what is that used for and where does that go? And also the flood fee that is collected every year, what is that and where does that go? What's that used for? Is it being used just for, detention ponds, setting them up, or where does that go and what is the utilization rules around that? So,
If I may.
Absolutely.
Are those the type of things you want to go outside and have somebody tell you, or you want us to just report to you? For instance, the road money, the $25 road maintenance fee.
right,
Goes straight into the road fund.
right,
There it goes. You can
Right.
see every dollar that's spent out of that fund, every single dollar. The stormwater fee,
right,
that goes into a stormwater fund. It's not commingled with other funds, and that's where it's expended. A lot of that goes through to the monitoring of all the water quality throughout the county. We have some ungodly number of monitoring stations across the county that we can tell you water quality any given time. So, those kind of things, we can give you all that information. It's black and white. There's nothing magic about it or secretive about it, things like that. The road money, how it's spent, there again, we can give you a complete accounting of every single dollar that comes in there, where it goes, how it's used. It's basically used, I can tell you right now what it's used for. If you go back to your budget, it's used for debt service, for the Woodruff Road bypass. That's a portion of it. It's used for paving, and it's used for personnel for the road and bridge group. So, and it doesn't completely cover that.
right,
Quite frankly, it's just up until this past budget, I believe it was $2 or $2.5 million went toward that, but like I said, it doesn't cover it. This year, we did not put that in the budget. So this year, it's even, FELOs are the same way. Those go into a infrastructure bank fund.
right, right,
So everything, and they're accounted for just like property taxes. In fact, if you think of it, the company gets a bill just like you and I get for our property taxes.
right,
Okay, there's nothing magic about a FELO. It's just the way it's treated. It's a fee instead of a property tax. The amounts are the same. The amounts come from Columbia. They tell us what they are, and then the millage is applied to them, and we collect those. So there again, we can show you every dollar that comes in and where it goes. You can have somebody, a third-party outside group come do it, but I can have our finance group come and lay it out for you.
okay. And that's all I have right now. Gary?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Mr. Administrator, on the FELO, and I'm not here to create a debate or anything, but once that FELO comes in, I ask for a creation and distribution proportionality, where if you get the FELO in, what percentage goes here, what percentage goes there, and is there an ordinance or directive that distributes that amount of money to either entity?
There is. Basically what it is, the first 31% stays with the county,
Yes, sir.
okay? And after that, it's distributed to the taxing entities proportionally based on their millages.
Sure.
I'm going to bring an ordinance to you after the last budget that you all approved. If you want to have more road money, we need more FELO money, and so it changes just going forward, not going back.
Can we have that before the
Going
budget?
forward. Pardon?
Can we have it before the budget?
Well, no, it's for the current budget that
Okay.
we're in right now.
Okay.
We have the ordinance, they've drafted it for us and everything, but it's going forward. So nothing's happening right at the current time until
Yes.
come January, we'll start collecting that.
So-
But it's all distributed to the taxing entities, just like a regular property tax bill.
No, and I understand that.
You know,
Yes,
where they
sir.
go
So the last 6 years before this previous budget discussion, I went back through and I noticed the infrastructure bank kept declining in contributions, and then it was removed, it was merged, I think, with something else as the infrastructure bank. No?
No.
It may have been oversight on my part. If it is,
Yeah.
forgive me.
No, we
But,
haven't
but my
we haven't
thing is,
changed that fund.
if that money comes in for infrastructure bank, is there somewhere that allows us to use that for pay raises?
It's county money. County council, if you choose to change that, how it's used, in the past, it's gone toward road improvements. In fact, over the years, we had what we called a prescription for progress road program that spent several $100 million over a number of years. I believe it started back in '99, and it went until about 2010. We issued some debt, bonds and whatnot, and that's where the bond money was coming to help pay for it. So it's been used strictly for that kind of thing over the years. If you take money away from there, we got to rethink what we put aside for the roads.
No, and I totally agree with that.
So,
And I
but that is
identified
county
that
money.
amount.
That
Yes,
is
sir.
county money.
But what I was saying, and I guess where I'm kind of losing the connection here, is that once that money comes into the infrastructure bank for, as the parameters were set, that the FILO money would be basically used for servicing infrastructure on the creation. Well, in 2001, that's what.
It was for roads.
Right. But my problem, not a problem, but my question is, at what point did we delineate from roads and put into pay raises?
We don't. We don't
So
use
it's
it.
just on every budget cycle, the council can decide where that money goes?
We don't. We don't use it for pay raises. We haven't used it for pay raises.
Okay, then I missed that one.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that some of the FILO money was allocated for certain amounts of pay raises this past cycle. No?
No.
I'll have to go back and look at my notes.
Well, we
Forgive
transfer
me.
some of it to general fund as we pull away some of the other money that went to general fund.
Yes.
To pay for bridge and road people, because that's what the road maintenance fee has paid for in the past. So you have to replace it. I mean, you can't quit paying people.
Okay.
So,
So
but
they-
no, generally, no.
So technically, there's no narrative that says that money has to stay in infrastructure bank,
That's up to y'all.
and that's
We-
per cycle.
That's up, like I said, it's up to county council
Okay,
to
yeah.
decide how it's, and whether it's called infrastructure bank or you call it X fund, it doesn't, that's just a name they put to it.
Not X fund.
It's a fee, it's a fee that the county controls.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, we're just discussing every topic known to man. So
I'm tracking for the
just
record.
tell me all your thoughts, no wrong answers.
I've got nothing to add.
Okay. So I've came up with this here.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
if I may. Mr. Administrator, just help me understand there. So if we were to audit the sheriff for efficiencies, and that's been done previously, I understand, several years ago, maybe
a
shed some
number of
light on
years.
that for us. Maybe, I'm not, not
Yeah,
trying to put you in a spot, but how would we go about that, or what would be the best prescription, you think?
Well, we put together an RFP, RFQ, request for proposals, qualifications, and try to select a group to come in that has public safety, hopefully policing / sheriff office experience, and come in and look at our basically the number of personnel overall, look at the ratio of personnel, line personnel to management, things like that. Their expenditures and, how they're set up, because they're organized, with different focus, different areas. Now, that will be debatable because each sheriff always has a different idea. And you got to keep in mind, what goes on in Greenville may be much different than the county next door or county 1,000 miles away. So, there's a lot of difference of opinion, but we can get people to come in and look at any of our departments and do some comparisons, probably have some benchmark communities in the area, and then broader,
Okay.
where we look at, there again, you got to kind of keep an open mind to some degree, because the way things are organized in different government, local government organizations is different. For instance, some places have a distinct budget office. Some people have that combined with a finance department. So, here we have a budget office of, say, 3 individuals. Somebody else may have a budget office of 0. But then you look at their finance department, it's 2.5 times the size of ours. So you just got to kind of weed through some of that to try to compare apples to apples. But that would be a way to start, decide. They did it in the past.
Were you here for that?
I wasn't. It was prior
Okay.
to my
It was
time.
prior to your tenure.
I've been
Okay.
through one before at a different place, and
Okay.
it gives you some matrices to look at to see, okay, that makes sense,
Yeah.
what we're doing, or, maybe we need
Yeah,
to realign some
absolutely.
things. Salaries, they'll look at salaries. Do we compare? How are we doing that way? I think we're in pretty good shape right now after what we were able to accomplish last budget. It can always be better. But no, I think we are in pretty good shape that way. So, but it would give us a good feel, I think. Are we staffed somewhat adequately? You got to keep in mind, there's a formula out there that you'll hear, officers per 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. That's one measure. Is it the best? I don't think so. There's so many other things that go into that we need to look at to have, make, informed decisions and things like that. Officers per 1,000 in Greenville is going to be much different than, say, in a Detroit, Michigan, or somewhere else. It's just the difference in locale and how it's policed and what we do. So there's a lot of things, but we can specify that, what you want to look at, the efficiency of the operation, the staffing levels, all those type
Yeah,
of
I'm
things.
particularly interested in overtime usage,
That would-
efficiency of man hours.
Right.
How much are we spending per man hour, and how much usage are we actually getting per man hour, per call,
Right.
for paperwork? There's a lot of things I'd like to. I'm
So should we be
getting a little
at-
deep in the weeds here, but
Exactly. Should we be adding more people to cut down on the overtime?
right, would it be
'Cause
more efficient and cheaper?
We can
Because
get
they're
a
going
lot
to
more
come.
people.
Yeah,
So-
the sheriff's a large portion of our budget.
Right.
So I think
So-
if we can, and I'm not trying to say they're doing a bad job. I want to be
Oh.
very clear with everybody here and everybody in the audience. I'm not 100% not saying they're doing a bad job. I'm saying, can we find it more efficient so we don't have to keep throwing money and at the problem?
Well, and think about it. Over the years, we've been through a number of sheriffs. Just since I've been here, we've been through probably 4, 5. And so each of them have a little different way of doing things and thoughts on how they do things. So it might be very helpful to kind of get a realignment of where we are. And Sheriff Lewis does a tremendous job from everything I see and everything, but he inherited kind of what he's got.
Sure.
And so, he can change some, and he has. He's made some great changes over the years, but, he's limited to some degree by the budget, by the number of personnel and things like that. So it can be very, very helpful.
All right. Well, could you walk me through real quick, if once we get this going, that we'd like to do that, is it about how long and what the procurement process looks like?
Okay, procurement, well, basically, we would start with a drafting an RFP, and I just happen to have about a half dozen of them here from other places that we can go through and get that fairly quick for you. Once I know what you're looking at, what you want to look at,
Okay.
because that'll
Okay.
be instrumental in what I put in here. We talk about the organization in there a little bit, personnel, how many and all that, so they know the size and scope, and then lay out what you're wanting them to look at so that we can get that information back. So once we got the scope, specifications and all that, we can put together the RFP timeline, which basically put it out. I would suggest we leave it out for 30 days, just so people have time, because it's a lot of information we'll ask for back. And, a lot of this they have ready to go, but there again, just depending on what department we're looking at, could change how quick they come back with something. We're looking at if you're looking at sheriff, that's 600 and some odd personnel. That's going to be a little bigger scope. Then oftentimes, within a week of issuing the RFP, we'll actually have a initial conference for any responders that want to attend. If they have questions for clarification, okay, no, that's not what this means, this is what it means, that kind of thing. But then get it back, usually, like I said, 30 days, we can go longer. I wouldn't go any shorter, just because. The quality, I think, will suffer. Once we get the responses back, then y'all can go through and evaluate, and we'll help you with scoring sheets and all that so that we're consistent. We have to make sure we do everything by the book, by state law, well, county law now. And then y'all tell us what direction you want to go. Can interview them. You can bring say we got 10 responses, bring the top 3 in. Take the time to talk to them, and then make your recommendation. I have to go to full council since you're a subset, and then we can get it going. So
3 readings, or can we get more?
we don't need readings.
Okay, no.
We don't need readings. No, this isn't an ordinance.
Yeah.
This is a purchase. And, we have our purchasing people are there to help. We're here to help, whatever you need, so we can, my point is, once we get it back in, we can compress it for award as short as we can with y'all. It's up to y'all.
And we already have the budget set aside, so we don't
Yeah,
really
the
need any
money's
more
there.
approvals, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of going through the process now.
Okay.
And I like I said, if y'all are, wanting to select the sheriff and 1 or 2 others, then let's do it.
Right.
Let's craft.
Right.
Because the RFP will look a little different. If I was doing it for IT, it'd look different than doing it for
Right.
sheriff.
we could, this is a pretty good list. We could actually do 2 departments, just depending
Oh.
on what is chosen.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
just a matter of changing some of the parameters and what we're looking at. A lot of
Right.
it will be the same,
Right.
quite frankly. I would like to see, and maybe we could do it all at one time, just an overall staffing review of the county. To say, hey, how do we stack up across the board?
Yeah,
That would be helpful to kind of start getting some ideas, because if we are kind of where I think we are, we're going to have to come up with strategy to add. I think that's what's going to come back on
Okay.
some of these. Now, I don't know about specific departments,
right.
but overall.
Overall, yeah. Okay,
Madam Chair, if I may.
absolutely.
Mr. Administrator, if, when you do the RFP, so these are people, businesses, individuals that are allowed to receive an RFP, or is these just independent? Is there a certain category where they have to be qualified to be for the RFP program? Are they typically government, it's just anybody?
We have no pre-qualification.
Okay, yeah, no, and that's right, yeah.
I mean, on certain things we may,
Okay.
but not on this. Because basically, we can weed them out real quick. If they're not qualified and they respond, well, we don't think you're qualified. That's why we do it.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And, there'll be firms from all over the country, I would suspect, and we'll reach out to make sure we have good coverage.
Thank
Who's to say that a firm from, Alabama couldn't do it? So we just want to get the best we can.
Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
how do we solicit that? Could you just,
Through an
But how-
RFP.
through
We
a-
advertise.
you advertise it, okay.
But we will seek out,
Okay,
That's through procurement.
different organizations, and we're members, I'm a member of ICMA, International City County Managers Association. We can throw it out through there, which these different groups all probably belong to too, and then they can respond. There's a lot of, I'm sure there'll be local opportunities for some of the businesses that, accounting firms and things like that. This probably is going to be a little more specialized since it's law enforcement. So it's a little twist, just from a organizational review.
Sure. Anything else? No? Any recommendations from you outside of what we've just talked about, but do
Yeah.
you know of anywhere that we should look for efficiencies that you think are a possibility?
I would suggest, if you want to go after the potentially something that can make a difference, I would suggest perhaps Sheriff's Office and EMS.
Okay.
Detention center, normally I would suggest them just because of their size, but they're so governed by state law. And what I mean by that is the officers per inmate ratio is guided by state law. And I can guarantee you, we don't have that ratio. So we have to supplement with overtime. So we do have personnel on board, but it's because we're short there. And we get dinged with the annual reviews from the Department of Corrections because of that. So I don't think we'd have much of an impact there, quite frankly. Everything we do there is pretty well governed by that. We can look at the spending and things like that that you want. By the way, you had requested the purchasing cards. I've got all that information. I tried to give it to Mr. McGahee earlier this summer. He refused. He said, no, I'm not taking the 7 boxes. What we did, you requested 6 months worth of P card usage. We've got it. But I wanted to get you the backup to go with each expenditure to save time, because as you look through statements, just like, at home when you're looking through a credit card statement, if it says Amazon, you ask your spouse or child, what is this? Well, I wanted you to have that information just like that. So we've got the support for every single purchase that was made for the 6 months. Anyway,
Do you have that electronically?
no, because they had to go through and pull it out, and yeah.
So we don't keep electronic records? That's all?
We do, but but to extract it from the main system, they had to print it out. I could have somebody go back and scan all that now that we have it.
I guess my question would be then, you got me thinking now, is the way we're keeping track of this archaic?
No, we can get to it, but to share it, it's hard to share it unless you're into that system.
Okay.
And know how to navigate a system, an accounting
Right.
system.
Well, if we hired a firm to audit that, they would have access to it, correct?
Oh, yeah, we'll get them access
Yeah.
to it. Our auditors, the financial auditors, they get access
Yeah,
to it.
okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, perfect, thank you.
And I'd give you access if you want to try to figure out how to get around in there. But no, because when somebody does a purchase, we have to provide a receipt, and that gets scanned in there. So we actually have the real receipts
Receipts.
scanned in and everything. So it's an image now. You're pulling out an image.
On that note, a box of information, if I may, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Please forgive me.
No, you're good.
I'm almost finished with my box that you gave me budget time. Would you like those back? I know you probably didn't think I'd get through them all, but I'm about an inch left and I'll be finished. The big sheets like this long?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
When you finish that, come upstairs,
I look-
bring me 1 box, and I'll give you 7.
Trust me, I spend my time.
Yeah, no, we've got all that information, and I think you find it when, for instance, you turn in expense reports. I would hope the clerk is a stickler like we are for everything, which I'm sure she is, because, well, it gets rejected. Our finance department rejects stuff. Yeah, nobody has a shortcut around here. So, try to turn something in. If county council can't turn in an expense report without it being scrutinized, then nobody gets special
I
treatment.
get 3 calls every time I turn in from the clerk.
Well, we'll teach you how to do it right.
Think about, and different different things give us time to look into kind of what we might want in these areas, and maybe even talk with people in our district and come up with some that maybe we didn't think about. But I do want to make it to where we can get this ordered this year and have it back, as soon as we can have it back. But I also want to make the right choices and make sure we're auditing the right things.
Yes, ma'am. All due respect, I think we can make a decision what we got there and get a ball rolling.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about that? Anything else to add? No?
So the scope is going to be, or the initial ones will be the sheriff and who, and what else?
Well, we looked at sheriff and, what was the other one you mentioned?
EMS.
EMS. And, I like to look at a little bit further into clerk of court too, so.
That's right.
And, we've got one member missing, so I want to make sure we get, Steve's input on this too. But yeah, so I feel like this is 90% of what we'd need to look at. What do you feel?
I guess my question, Madam Chairwoman, would be, I think,
Yes.
I can see where the sheriff and EMS go together. Now, if we hired one company to do sheriff, EMS, and clerk of court, it's kind of different spheres of influence and the way things happen. I
And we can-
see some synergy in the first two. The third one, I don't really see how it would connect to the first two. We might be, our
Right.
scope might get overly broad, I guess is my concern.
Well, we'd have a separate RFP for the others.
Okay,
And,
okay.
and that way, a firm could bid on both packages or one or the other. And you'd probably see different ones bidding
Yeah.
on different ones.
You might have somebody that specializes more in clerk of court
Yeah,
versus,
that's what you'll
Health and
see.
safety, yeah.
And what you'll probably see, what our responses will come from, will be potentially accounting firms.
Right.
With some consulting aspect to them. You'll see it from some consultants that have probably been involved in these operations across the country that have gone into the consulting world. Management-type consultants that do, a lot of them do some employee recruiting and things like that also, and they have a consulting side. So we'll hopefully have a good mix of
Sounds good.
firms.
sounds good. Anything else?
Is there an actionable item on the floor
No,
right now?
we didn't allow for that.
Yeah.
On your agenda, you didn't allow
Yeah.
for
Sweet.
that.
Yeah.
But we can, I've heard your all's conversation, so
Yes.
we'll get started on our side of it.
Well, knowing that, Madam Chairwoman, if I may,
Absolutely.
knowing the intent then now that the administrator and his staff have our intent, let's set a date for, say, the 18th to reconvene and have an action which sets this into motion.
We'll need to go into the next week. I won't be here that week.
Okay.
We can go into that next
It'll
week.
be the
We good?
25th. Is
With all
that,
due respect, I'll be here to act for you.
I trust you, but I want to be here.
Okay, you can call in, but yeah, I think this is something we need to get rolling if we're going to do it.
and would that be
I
enough
agree.
time for you, Mr. Administrator, to do this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's, and we'll try to make sure we're all here too. So this was kind of, this meeting got pushed from the end of August to now because of delegation time. So I think that's how we kind of lost Steve. We got tangled up in his busyness, and that happens just as mine does as well. So, yeah. 25th? Everybody go 25th? Thank you.
Are you going to be here?
Madam Clerk, if you would reserve the room for us so it doesn't get jumped on by the legislative delegation, they seem to push us around.
Thank you. One more motion, please.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.